Just going to wait for some comments to appear. As we all know what Facebook is like. Hi Irene, thank you. First comments just come up, so I'll start speaking. Thank you for everyone joining me this time of night. I try to do these lives a bit earlier and I end up doing them quite late. Before I'm going to discuss what happened on Thursday and Friday, I'm just going to say about the yellow vest. The yellow vest, hi everyone. Hi David from the USA. Thank you for joining me. First of all, the yellow vest, they've still been out there. They've gone for over a year now. A year was on the 14th of December. So well done to them. I've only managed to get to one in the last month. And that's purely based on the fact that I was campaigning and I had a couple of other things that I had to do. But they are still out there going strong, just so you know. And with regards to the yellow vest, we're making it pretty easy on the police at the moment, because what the police are doing is the police are arresting a lot of the yellow vests that are around me. They have arrested some of the yellow vests for incidences that I have been at, but they haven't arrested me, which is showing us that they're just arresting them around me to try and get rid of them. You know, the yellow vests had already been infiltrated 3 times now, you know, and they've broken up a lot of people. And now what they've done instead is arrested the people around me. Now, going on that, on Thursday and Friday of this week, I was in court, not for me, for in attendance for a yellow vest, who happens to be one of my close friends as well. Now, they was in Crown Court because they went not guilty because the CPS had charged them with assaulting an emergency worker. Now, that can sound bad to people in court because they're saying emergency worker, but really all it is one of the TSG, you know, the Met Police Gestapo backup. That's all they are. But they call themselves emergency worker. Now, so my friend, a yellow vest, was up in court at Crown Court. Now, when we arrived Thursday morning, the judge came in and asked why the case was going ahead, because he'd seen the video and you could clearly see in the video that the yellow vest had not assaulted an emergency worker. It was the other way around. The emergency worker, TSG police, had assaulted the yellow vest. In fact, what he had done was the yellow vest had sat down, but the road was already closed, and he'd put his fingers on the back of his neck to try and subdue him and dragged him up from the floor. Then threw him on the floor. Loads of police got on top of him, stamped on his ankles. That wasn't shown in court. And so on. So the judge asked why we was actually there. The prosecutor then proceeded to tell the judge that the CPS wanted this case to go ahead. That then let the judge know that they wanted to make sure that this yellow vest was found guilty, which you could tell throughout the case, because what happened was a jury was called in. They came in, they was shown the evidence of the video of the incident, and you could clearly see that the yellow vest did no assault on the police. It was quite embarrassing to watch. So what did they do? They used someone else's case who had got arrested that day, just prior to the incident, and kept mentioning him, which was irrelevant to the case of the yellow vest. They mentioned an incident of someone else being arrested who was using racial abuse. That's all they kept doing, was mentioning this other person, bearing in mind this other person wasn't a yellow vest, but we also know that the other person was never charged with that offence. But they kept mentioning this person throughout this trial because they knew they couldn't get the yellow vest on the footage because the yellow vest person had done no assault. Now, with the Extinction Rebellion protesters, they've been getting unconditional discharge and they've been getting let off their cases. When it comes to the yellow vests, they want to prosecute and they want to make sure they prosecute them and get charges on them, letting them off with nothing. Now, there's a lot of yellow vests up in court in February, a lot, that have done nothing wrong. Nothing. So let's go back to this case anyway. The defence didn't tell the court that the road was closed off so there was no obstruction. The yellow vest, the defence didn't tell the court that the person that they kept mentioning that was irrelevant to the case did not face any charges. The defence didn't tell the jury or the court that that is irrelevant to the case. So that that made me obviously query the defence. So they was really out when the judge done the summing up. He made sure he mentioned this other bloke again that was irrelevant to the case in the court. So this is where our civil liberties are at risk because there's no equal treatment under the law and within the law. There isn't. They want to shut down free speech. They want to shut down the real patriots who are out there protesting with the truth, which is our government is the snake's head. And that's what they want to do. So there is no lawfulness in law. I know that with regards to our boys' case, what they done there and what they're still doing with us towards that. Anyway, lucky for us, that the jury see through all of that. Just normal, ordinary people on that jury see all of that and found him not guilty. Now, we didn't know which way they was going to go because the way the judge, the defence and the prosecutor were playing this, but the jury see through that. So there is hope. So if you're ever arrested and you know you haven't done what they're saying you've done, make sure you go for a jury. Get it out of that magistrate's court and go for a jury. Because that's our only hope for people out there that are fighting to have a jury. That's our only hope. So going back on the yellow vests have still been out there. As I said, I've only managed, unfortunately, to get to one in the last month. So you haven't had many live feeds on the yellow vest, but I can tell you now, they're still out there. They've been still going strong. And early in January, there's going to be tactics are going to have to be changed because we're making it too easy for the police now, and everyone will come back stronger than ever. The other thing I want to discuss is Boris. Now, what I'm finding sad is Boris is just a globalist puppet. I know this from the system I've been put into and the hours and hours and hours of research that I did in trying to find out why they covered up the murders of Josh, Harry and George. Now, the sad thing is, I'm a leaver. Now, I wrote something on Boris's page the other day and I got attacked by many people who, before this election, knew that Boris was lying. You know, we didn't get out of Brexit on the 31st of October. I knew Boris was lying, but all of a sudden, because of the propaganda that they're using to try and make Boris look like a good person, people are believing it. And all they've put Boris there for is to put back to sleep the active patriots that were out there standing up and waking up, They've put him in to put them back to sleep. You've only got to look at the deal and all that we are still tied to the EU and we're not going to leave. And it's their laws that they're using. The majority is their laws, and it's a corpus juris law, which is Roman law, which means if they can prosecute you on just saying that they think you're going to do that. So the police could come and say to me, well, Tracy, I think next week you're going to rob a bank, so we're going to prosecute you for that. And they don't need no evidence. And on top of that, they can put you in any prison in Europe. That is a dictatorship. That's what that is. Communism. Communism. We have to stay awake. We have to stand up. You know, we was born to do this. That's in our blood. That's what I believe. That's what I was taught. That no matter what, you know, the establishment think that the more brick walls they put up towards us, in the case of Josh, Harry and George, the more that we will start thinking, we ain't going to get anywhere, we ain't going to get justice, we should just stop. No. We're built that the more they do that to us, the more harder we will fight. Because that's what we're made of. And we never surrender. Absolutely, Laura. And the Lisbon Treaty. Look it up. Read it. You will get people say it's fake. But you can find when they signed the first part of the Lisbon Treaty back in the 90s. You can find that on YouTube. Everything's about research. And they think that people don't bother to research. Yes, there are millions that don't bother to research. But I know there is many that do stay awake and that do research. And I'm one of them, because unfortunately I had to spend hours and days on researching why they would cover up 3 children's murders. Why would they do that? And with regards to our boys' case, there is a darker and deeper element to that, and it will come out. You, the public, deserve the right to know what happened in our boys' case, and our boys deserve that right, a right that the government took away from them. For me, I'm stuck on the 26th of the 1st, 2018. I'm stuck there. Because I need to get justice for Josh, Harry and George. I need to do that. And I need to make sure the rest of the children, whether they're your children or not, people should care about them. They're children. People should care about the veterans. You know, look at it like this. Boris said before the general election he would stop the persecution of the veterans. Has he done that? No. It is propaganda that you're going to see to make him look good. He is a globalist puppet. It's as simple as that. And they're trying to put all the patriots back to sleep so they can bring in their new world order. And that is what it's about. Dictatorship. There's anarchy all across the world. So many countries, the people are standing up and saying no more. Look at France. Look at France and then look at us. Look at us. But what they do, they play it clever, the establishment, because any movement that starts up, that they see is growing, which was happening with the yellow vests, just ordinary people. That's all the yellow vests were. Ordinary people. Standing up and saying no more. And they saw that, so what do? Stick the infiltrators, the agitators in there and break it up. And once people can see that it's not infighting, it's infiltration. That's what it is. Once you can see the controlled opposition, there will be a chance to unite everybody. A chance. Because we're all being used, we're all being abused, and in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, and no one owns the truth. So share it. Share it. I'm just going to look through to see if there's anything I can answer for you. You know, they're manipulating us. Thought this was over, you all won. No, Michael. Yep, it's going to kick in effect January the 1st. That's the Lisbon Treaty. Yes, I get that, Ruth. The people did vote Boris in. They didn't want the other dictator in, and the others didn't stand a chance. You're right, but they're all dictators. It's all cleverly played because it's the same masters running those parties. So you've got the globalists, you know, which is communism, socialism and dictatorship. And then you've got the communists, Marxists. You've got that. So everyone, take care and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, thank you.